So this was a mock exam related to topic 13 to 15, mainly about organic chemistry. In the first question, the molecule of a molecular formula C8H18 undergo a cracking. So whenever cracking means breaking down of a long chain compound into small molecules, produce alkane and alkenes. The substance R is having two carbon atoms and it decolorizes the bromine. So what does it mean? It means the substance R is an alkene because alkene can decolorize the bromine. And it contains two carbons. So what will be the formula for R? If R contains two carbon, because it's an alkene, so the number of hydrogen will be twice. So it will be C2H4. So if we have the equation, we have C8H18 is there. And we have two R is C2H4. So how many carbon will be there in this Q? Because we want to identify what is substance Q. So there are 8 carbon in the reactant side. So there should be total 8 carbons in the product. So 2 multiplied by 2, 4. So we should have 4 carbon as well here. And out of 18, 8 hydrogen are used here. So how many hydrogen will be there? 10. So C4H10. C4 means but because carbon 4 but, and because the number of the hydrogen are twice plus 2, so it is N. So what is substance Q? The substance Q is butane. So A is the right answer for this. Fuel X produces carbon dioxide and water. When it is burned, so does fuel Y. Remember, whenever hydrocarbons are burned, whenever we burn a hydrocarbon, it produces carbon dioxide and water. Same thing, fuel Y also, it means that is also a hydrocarbon. So fuel X and fuel Y both are hydrocarbons. So which option? Both X and Y are hydrocarbons. So that is option D, that CH4 is a hydrocarbon and C8 and H18 is also a hydrocarbon. So whenever you burn a hydrocarbon, like if you burn methane in the presence of oxygen, combustion reaction produce carbon dioxide and water. Same thing, if we have C8 and H18, when we burn, it produces carbon dioxide and water. The combustion of the hydrocarbons will lead to formation of a product known as carbon dioxide and water. If it was only a carbon containing fuel, then it will produce carbon dioxide. And if it's a hydrogen is used as a fuel, so it will produce water. But hydrocarbon produce both carbon dioxide and water. In which molecule contain only single covalent bonds? So which molecule contains single covalent bonds? So as we discussed, alkane between the carbon and all the bonds are single. So that's why A is the right answer. Even in a propanoic acid, there will be C double bonded with O and OH will be there. Propene, carbon-carbon double bond, and propyl propanoate also, because it's an ester, so it will have C double bonded with O as well. So simple answer, why we select propane? Because it's an alkane and all the alkanes have a single covalent bond throughout the structure, also known as saturated hydrocarbons. Alkane react with chlorine to form chloroalkane. Which statement about the reaction of alkane with chlorine is correct? So when any alkane react with chlorine, like example, if there was a methane reacted with chlorine, so there is a substitution reaction. One chlorine enter, one hydrogen leaves. So as a result, what it will form? It will form CH3Cl plus HCl. So it will be chloromethane. So which statement according to the reaction is known as a substitution reaction? Alkane react with chlorine by addition. That is wrong, because this is not addition, this is substitution. The gaseous product turned the red litmus blue. That is wrong. This gaseous product, which is HCl does not turn red litmus blue, it will turn blue litmus red. Because HCl is an acidic, so the blue litmus will turn red. The chlorine atom in chloroethane are covalently bonded. That is true, because whenever a bond is there between the non-metals, like carbon is a non-metal, chlorine is also a non-metal. So what kind of bond is this? This is always a covalent bond. So statement C is Correct. The general formula for chloroalkane is CnH2nCl. That is wrong. The general formula is CnH2n plus 1 Cl. Means the number of the hydrogen are twice plus 1 as compared to carbon, and there is a chlorine atom. So it's chlorine, and between the chlorine and the carbon atom, there is a covalent bond. That's why C is the right answer for this. Part of a structure of a very large molecule is shown. Which term describe a small unit? So what we call, because when we have a long chain compound, we call that as a polymer. So what we call the small unit is known as monomer. Propene react with steam to form propanol. Which type of reaction take place? Remember, all the reactions of alkenes are addition reaction except for combustion. So whenever more reactants and only one product is there, so when more reactant and only one product, what we call this type of reaction? We call that as addition reaction. So with reference to that, A is the right answer. Condensation is when water molecule is given off, and oxidation means addition of oxygen, and substitution means when atom or group of atom replace or displace the other. In question 7, statement about ethanoic acid. Which statement about ethanoic acid is correct? All the acids, like most of the acid, can react with metal, and what they give salt and hydrogen. So if there is an ethanoic acid, it reacts with magnesium. Magnesium is a metal. As a result, when acid reacts with a metal, it will produce salt and hydrogen. So A is the right answer. Why not B? It reacts with sodium hydroxide to produce salt and hydrogen. That is wrong. When acid reacts with a metal or hydroxide or a base, it will produce salt and water as a product. It reacts with ammonium salt to produce ammonia. That is totally wrong. This is not the characteristic of acid. This is a characteristic of alkali. That alkali, like sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, in the presence of ammonium ion, it gives off ammonia gas. And red litmus will turn blue. That is also wrong. Blue litmus will turn red when we have acid, not red to blue. So option A is the right answer for this. The diagram shows a partial structure of phthalate, which is a polyester, which is having an ester leg. Which pairs of a compound is made? Remember, what are the monomers for a formation of a phthalate? It is a dicarboxylic acid and diol. Means one side we have a carboxylic acid, and one side we have one of the monomer, both sides it will have a carboxylic acid, another monomer, both sides it will have alcohol. So when we check the structure, look, if we have this molecule, like this will have, this is C double bonded with O, so this C double bonded with O is with this one, and this molecule is having O. Then this C double bonded with O, and this molecule O. So what this gives an idea? This gives an idea. If I try to form a polymer, you can clearly see that which structure it will match with. So when carboxylic acid react with alcohol, if one side we remove OH, the other side will remove H. One side will remove OH, the other side will remove H. Or it can be other way around. If one side we remove H, the other side will remove OH. Then H and the other side will be OH. So what will be the product form if we remove this OH? It will be C double bonded with O. Then there is a box. Then there is C double bonded with O. OH and H is being removed. So this will be O. And there is a box. So this will be the complete structure of this polyester. And why other options? Look, you can check why other options cannot be an answer, because we should have a monomer as a dicarboxylic acid. So this is not a dicarbo. This is one carboxylic acid and one all is there. So this is not right. When we check this, this is diol and dicarboxylic. So this can be an answer. But if this was an answer, then how the polymer should form? What should be the structure of the polymer? When we remove OH and H, so if we remove H from the first one, OH from the second one, and then H from the first one and OH from the second one. So when the polymer is formed by combination of these two molecules, it will be O, then there is a unshaded box. Then this OH and H is being removed, so this O will be there, and then C double bonded with O, and then there will be a shaded box, and then C double bonded with O. So the C double bonded O, if the polymer is formed by combination of these two molecules, then the shaded box should have C double bonded with O. But as you can see, the structure of a polymer, the shaded box does not, or it's not attached with C double bonded with O. It is attached with oxygen. So it means the shaded box is containing both side OH groups, and the unshaded box is having both side carboxylic group. So, and this cannot be an answer because both are carboxylic groups. So either A can be an answer and C can be formed, both can form a polymer, but the structure of a polymer which is formed by combination of A and C will be different, as a shaded side is coming with O. So in this case, the shaded side is coming with O, and here shaded side with CO. That's why A is the right answer. So there are blank pages available in exam. You can use them to draw the structure and work out which one it matches with. What is the structure of butanoic acid? But means 4 carbon atoms, and oic acid means it should have C double bonded with O and OH, or we can say COOH, or we can also say CO2 and H. So 4 carbon atoms should be there, 1, 2, and 3. So this is not a butanoic, this is propanoic acid. 1, 2, 3, and 4 carbon atoms are there. So this is a butanoic, because but prefix means 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there. So it is a pentanoic acid. And this is even not a carboxylic acid, because to be a carboxylic acid, at the end, either it should be CO2H or it should be COOH. So D is not the right answer as well. Compound Z contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Molecule of compound Z has a 4 hydrogen atoms, 2 carbon atoms, and the compound Z made by oxidation of alcohol. So this gives you an idea. Whenever alcohols are oxidized, what it will form? It will form carboxylic acid. So alcohol, which one is a carboxylic acid in the options? So only carboxylic option is C. That's why C is the correct answer. So oxidation of alcohol leads to a formation of a product, carboxylic acid. And which carboxylic acid? Because 2 carbons are there, so it will be ethanoic acid. Which statement about the homologous series and isomerism is correct? So homologous series means compounds, they will have like a general formula is there for a series. So butane and butene are structural isomers. Like what does it mean? Structural isomers means that they have different structures, but they have the same number of atoms. That is wrong, because butane is C4 and H10, and butene is C4 and H8. So they are not isomers, because to be an isomer, they should have the same molecular formula but different structure. Compound in the same homologous series have the same general formula. That's true. Like all the alkanes, the member of alkanes such as methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, they all have a general formula. So B is the right answer. So whenever a compound belongs to the same series, they will have the same general formula. Which statement about alkanes is correct? They burn in oxygen. So alkanes are there. Alkanes can be burned in oxygen. That is true because they can be used as a fuel. So they contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. That is wrong. Alkanes are hydrocarbons, so they contain carbon and hydrogen. They contain carbon-carbon double bond. That is also wrong. And they contain ionic bond. That is also incorrect because hydrogen and carbon are non-metals, so they will have a covalent bond. What is the advantage of manufacturing alcohol such as ethanol by fermentation? So what is the advantage of preparing alcohol by fermentation? The process is fast. That is wrong. This is not the fast process. It is a slow process. Ethanol required no separation. We have to separate because we will have a mixture of ethanol and water. So we have to carry out fraction distillation to separate this ethanol. The raw materials used are renewable. That's true. Like we are using a sugar solution or a glucose, which can be produced. So it's a renewable energy resource. And there is no other product. That is wrong. There is another product, that is carbon dioxide. Question 14, P, Q, R, and S are 4 organic compounds. P is unsaturated hydrocarbon, means P contains carbon-carbon double bond. Q burned, but otherwise it is unreactive. So it can be burned, but overall it is not reactive or it does not react. R contain carbon-carbon single bond and carbon-carbon double bond. So if throughout the structure, if we find any double bond is there, so throughout the structure, if there is a double bond, it means that element, that molecule or a compound belongs to alkene. So this shows that this is alkene. And Q burned, otherwise it is unreactive. So it gives an idea it is an alkane because alkanes generally are unreactive, but we can burn them. What about S, undergo addition polymerization? So addition polymerization, only molecule which are having a carbon-carbon double bond can undergo addition polymerization. So which compounds are alkene? So P is alkene, R is alkene, and S is alkene. So that's why B is the right answer, because alkenes can undergo addition polymerization. Alkenes will have a double bond within the structure, and alkenes are also known as unsaturated hydrocarbons. Alkanes are less reactive as compared to alkenes. A structure of a synthetic polymer is shown. So what is this? Look, you have studied 2 types of synthetic polymer, condensation polymers, which are synthetic, man-made. One is polyester. Polyester contain ester linkage, and this is called amide linkage, C double bonded with ON. That is amide linkage. So where we will find this is a polyamide, but like many amides are there. And how it is formed? It is formed by addition. It is formed by condensation polymerization. Addition polymerization only. How to identify addition polymerization is there if you have a carbon-carbon link is there within the structure, then it is addition polymerization. Otherwise, it is always condensation. Which substance is a natural polymer? So natural polymer, that is a protein, is a natural condensation polymer. Protein, fats, and carbohydrates are example of natural condensation polymers. In question 17, the structure of 4 organic molecules are shown. Which molecules are structural isomers? To be a structural isomer, they should have the same molecular formula but different structure. So this is 5 carbon, 5 carbon, 5. So they all have, like, this is all are C5 and H12. Now when we check whether their structures are different, so we always see, like, we want to identify which molecules are structural isomer of 1. So when we check this one, see this structure, when we select the longest chain of a carbon, so what is outside the chain is a branch. So this is a branch, and which position a branch is attached, the second position branch is attached. When we check this structure, the longest carbon chain, we select, and when we count the carbon atoms, so second position we have a branch. So 1 and 2 are the same structure. This is same as 1. It is not isomer, because to be an isomer, the branch should be attached with any other position, not with a second position. So when we select the longest carbon chain, the branch here is a second carbon with 2 also branch with a second. When we check this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a straight chain. There is no branch because we can count them in one leg. And here, when we count, 3 are in the straight chain and 2 of them are the branches. So 3 and 4 are the isomers of 1. Because 1 and 2 are the same structure, they have the same structure in that sense that the branch is attached with the second carbon. So 3 and 4 are the structural isomers of 1. Or we can also say 1 and 2. But 1 and 2 are not structural isomers as they are the same structure. When we count the carbon atoms, you will find like this is structure 1. When I select the longest chain, this is why I did not select this one, because this is not the longest chain. This is having 3 carbon atoms. But when I select the other way around, there are 4 carbon atoms, and so second position we have a branch. When I count this one, 4 carbon atoms, and second position we have a branch. Which chemical equation for a substitution of alkane with chlorine is correct? Whenever a chlorine reacts with alkane, a substitution reaction, one atom replaces the other. So one chlorine will enter and one hydrogen will leave. So it will produce C3HCl plus HCl. So A will be the right answer. Like one time one hydrogen will leave and one chlorine enter the structure. And this reaction is known as the substitution reaction, which occur in the presence of ultraviolet light. Propene is an alkene that react with bromine and steam and hydrogen as shown. What are the product of these? When it react with bromine, so the double bond will break and both sides bromine will be attached, so it will produce dibromopropane. When it react with steam, it will produce alcohol, and when it react with, so here propene react with bromine, it will produce dibromo, because 2 bromines are added, propane. When it react with steam, it will produce propanol. And when it react with hydrogen, so it produces propane. So dibromopropane, propanol, and propane. So C will be the right answer for this. In question 20, the flow chart shows the preparation of ethanol and some important chemistry of ethanol. So first, substance X we do fermentation. So which substance X we do fermentation? That is a glucose. Yeast is added to glucose, which contain enzyme. So glucose, due to fermentation, convert into alcohol, and this ethanol, what we call when we burn, combustion. Combustion of ethanol produce carbon dioxide and what? Water. So glucose, combustion, and water, or you can also say steam, because the temperature is high, so we can mention steam. So B will be the right answer. Which statement about the aqueous ethanoic acid is correct? Ethanoic acid, which is an acid, the structure of ethanoic acid is C double bonded with O and OH. It is an alkane. That is wrong. It's not an alkane. It reacts with sodium carbonate to give carbon dioxide. That is true, because all acid react with carbonate to give carbon dioxide. It changes the color of a litmus from blue to red. Blue litmus turn red. That is also true. And it is a hydrocarbon. This is not a hydrocarbon because it contains oxygen as well. So statement 2 and 3 are the correct statements. The structure of a polymer is shown. Which monomer formed this polymer? How to identify the monomer? So what you will do, you will just remove these bonds from the side. and make a carbon-carbon double bond. So what is this structure? A compound contains 3 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, and there's a double bond. So 3 carbon atoms and there is a double bond. So due to 3 carbon atoms, we'll say prop, and there's a double bond, so we call ene. So it is propene. D will be the right answer. If there was no carbon, extra carbon, and only 2 were there, then we will call that as propane. Or sorry, ethane, if 2 were there. But because 3 carbon atoms, that's why it is prop, and they will have a double bond, so ene. Which row about the production of ethanol by fermentation is correct? The raw materials are renewable. Energy requirement, like we don't need too much energy for this, so the energy requirement is low, and the rate of the reaction is very slow. So B will be the right answer. Which statement about the homologous series is correct? Member of a homologous series have a same structural formula. That is wrong. They have a same general formula. Member of homologous series all have a similar chemical property. That is true. Their physical properties gradually changes. They don't, like some of them are gas, then liquid and solid. So they don't have the same similar physical properties. They all have the same chemical or similar chemical properties. And members of all homologous series are hydrocarbon? No, because alcohols are not hydrocarbon, but they also belongs to homologous series. So B is the right statement. Increasing a number of atoms in one molecule of a hydrocarbon increase the amount of energy released. What is the order? So first you have to write this structure, the name, from the name you should write the structure, write a molecular formula. So methane, Meth means 1 carbon, and because it's an ane, so it means the number of hydrogen would be twice plus 2, so 1 multiplied by 2, that is 2 plus 2 make 4. So methane will be 4. Then ethane, C2, because it is ane, so C2 twice plus 2, so C2H6, and ethene, so it will be C2, and number of hydrogen will be twice, so H4. So they're saying the one which contain more carbon atoms, more atoms or more bond will have a high boiling point, or a high combustion, or energy will be released. So most energy released, because as you can see, ethane contains C2H6, ethene is C2H4. So most energy released will be by C2 and H6, and the least energy is from CH4. And in between them, it will be C2H4. So methane, ethene, and ethane, D will be the right answer, as they already mentioned that increasing a number of atoms, the one which contain more atoms, that it release greater amount of energy. So increasing the number of atoms increases the amount of energy released by the compound. Some properties of organic compound J are listed. So from these properties, you have to identify what is this organic compound J. It is a liquid at room temperature. It is soluble in water. Solution J react with carbonate to give so this gives an idea that it is and it's having a pH 3. So this gives an idea it is a carboxylic acid, because pH 3 means acidic, and reacting with carbonate is a characteristic of acids. Acid react with carbonate to give off carbon dioxide. In question 27, ethane C2H6 react with chlorine as substitution. What are the products? So what are the products? If we have ethane, which is C2H6 reacting with chlorine, Cl2. So one chlorine enter, one hydrogen leaves. So what will be the product? So it will be C2H5Cl plus HCl will be there. So it will be chloroethane plus hydrogen chloride, or HCl. B will be the right answer. This is called a chloroethane, and this one is hydrogen chloride. Which polymer or types of polymers are synthetic? Synthetic means man-made. So carbohydrate is a natural. Nylon is a synthetic, protein is a natural, and polyester or thalline is a man-made or synthetic. So 2 and 4 are the synthetic polymers or man-made polymers. The structure question, the structure of angelic acid is shown. Explain how this structure show that it is unsaturated compound. The term unsaturated means that it contains carbon-carbon. How it shows that it is unsaturated? Because the answer is because it contains carbon double bond with carbon. Deduce the molecular formula. Molecular formula means actual number of atoms. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are there. So C5. Hydrogen 3, 4, 7, and 8. So 8. And oxygen, only one is there. So C5H8. Sorry, 2 are there. One and this one is second. So C5H8 and O2. Then define the term acid. What is the definition of acids? Acids are proton donors. The substance which give proton or H plus sign. Explain the term weak acid. The weak acid means it ionizes partially. Like small amount of acid dissociate into ions. Angelic acid can be polymerized. State the name of a polymer that occurs. So look, the polymers are named after the monomer. So we have state the name of a type of polymerization that occur. As you can see, there is a carbon-carbon double bond. So whenever there is a carbon-carbon double bond, what kind of polymerization it will occur? There will be an addition polymerization. Then draw the partial structure of a polymer is shown. Draw the partial structure of a polymer and show 2 repeat units. So we have to show 2 repeat units, like we have to draw a polymer. How to draw a polymer? You will draw the same structure like I'm drawing now. I will draw the same structure as it is, but without a double bond. Because we want to draw an addition polymer. This is one unit. Then because we have to draw 2 repeat units, so I should draw the second one. The same structure without any change. And now what we do, we link them together. The 2 molecules, we link them together. As a result, this will be a addition polymer. So just the only thing what you have to do to draw an addition polymer, draw the same structure but without a double bond. Then angelic acid react with methanol to form an ester. Complete the structure for this ester, show all the atoms and all the bonds. So whenever like methanol C3HO is there. So if it reacted with methanol, like CH3OH is there. So this CH3OH, this carbon will take position of a hydrogen and hydrogen will come out. So as a result, what will happen in place of this H, there will be CH3 attached. So that we complete the structure. So in place of this H, like this one is C bonded with C double bonded with O will be there. So this C double bonded with O, and place of H there is CH3. So this is a structure. Then construct the equation for a combustion of methanol. Whenever you're writing a combustion equation, the equation must be balanced. So to balance the equation, we want to write for methanol. Methanol is CH3OH. So there is CH3OH is reacting with oxygen. So when we burn, because it's not a like whenever a compound is there contain carbon and hydrogen, so combustion produce carbon dioxide and water. So this will produce carbon dioxide and water. That's one thing. You will score 1 mark when you complete the equation. The second mark is for balancing. So one carbon here, one carbon, it is balanced. What about hydrogen? 3 plus 1, 4. So we need 4 hydrogen. So we put 2. For hydrogen is also balanced. Now what about oxygen? This 2, like if you check, this is 1 oxygen and 2, 3 oxygen on the left hand side, and 2 and 2, 4 oxygen. So what we want to make 3. How I can make, so we want to make 4, because 2 here and 2 here, 4 oxygen on the right hand side and 3 oxygen on the left hand side. So how we can make 4? So if I have 1.5 here, because 1.5 into 2 make 3, and 3 plus 1 make it 4. But we don't use a we don't use a decimal to balance the equation. So what we will do, we'll multiply this whole equation by 2. So when we multiply this by 2, this will be 2. 1.5 multiplied by 2, that is 3. So this will be 2, and 2 multiplied by 2, that's equal to 4. So the second mark is for balancing the equation. 1 mark is for writing the correct equation, and the second mark is for balancing. So if you need a decimal to balance the equation, what you will do, you will multiply all of them by 2. Then in question 30, choose from the structure of a compound to answer the questions. Each compound may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Which has the molecule with only 14 carbon atoms. So which molecule? 14 atoms, not carbon atom, total 14 atoms. So you have to count the number of atoms. Like here, it contains 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon atoms are there. How many hydrogen? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 hydrogen. 8 plus 3, 11. And then 1 oxygen is there, so 12. So that is A, cannot be. We'll check with B. 1, 2, 3 carbon atoms are there. So this is C3. And 3, 6, 7, 8. So C3H8, 8 plus 3. So that is again 11 are there, but we want the 14 atoms. 1, 2, 3. So C3 are there. Hydrogen 3, 4, 5, 6. So make it 9. And 2 oxygen. So again, it is having 11. What about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4. So C4. 3, 6, 7, 8. So C4 and H8. So it is having 12. When we check for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So C4. And 3, 6, 9, and 10. So C4H10. So 4 plus 10, total 14. So it means option E is the right one, because E contain total 14 atoms. Can be oxidized to form propanoic acid. So propanol, because propanol can be oxidized to form propanoic acid. So which is the structure of propanol? So when you check alcohol, so this one is A is a structure of propanol, because propanol or alcohol can be oxidized to give propanoic acid. So then is an isomer of butane. So what is the formula for butane? Normal butane, this is C4 and H10. So which is the isomer of a butane? We already counted. This contains 4 carbon and 10 hydrogen. So E is an isomer of butane, because it contains 4 carbon and 10 hydrogen, but they have having a different structure as the street. This one is a straight chain and one is a branched. And react with steam to make alcohol. So alkene react with steam to produce alcohol. So that is D. And can be polymerized. Polymerization can occur for which compounds polymerization? Addition polymerization. This one can be polymerized because addition polymerization, and this is having alcohol and carboxylic acid. So this can also be polymerized to give a condensation polymer. This will give addition polymer. So it is the answer for this one. The first one was E. Then it was A, E, D, and F. Then CD.